Did you record?
No, not yet.
All right, cool. Kind of corny, huh? we're gonna get into that.
Go.
Welcome to the Targeted Podcast. I am Zahid. That is Nicholas. Thank you guys for joining us on this Sunday evening. Light's getting out. It's not as dark as it used to be. It's still dark now, but it's gonna be daylight savings time too soon.
Almost sundress season, baby.
I know, right? It's a great time of year.
So it's almost spring. The weather's almost warm.
So, all right, how you doing, man? How was your week since last week? How's life been treating you?
More the same, man. Honestly, I need to start going to bed earlier. To be honest with you.
That's a tough one. Well, I mean, you have a kid, myself. So.
Actually, I found these guys. I stay shouting other accounts out on this podcast, but I'm gonna keep doing it. There's an IG account called the Dumb Dads, and they do these skits, right? And it's like they have these press conferences for the dads, and they ask them questions or whatever. And the guy was like, in one of the press conferences, the guy was like, "Yeah, stayed up till 2 a.m. playing video games. Hate myself." Right now, it's like, yeah, that's me. Like every day, not playing video games necessarily, but it's still I just be up.
We gotta get some of those videos downloaded so we can share them on the podcast and get it going. My week for me, long. All my weeks are long, unfortunately, but It is what it is. Just keep one foot at a time, and kind of just keep it going. So it's good.
I mean, you work from home though, right? Don't they blur? I mean, for me, I work from home, right? So everything kind of blurs together at this point. And honestly,
it does.
Like I almost get annoyed when I have to go out and do something. It just wrecks the schedule. You know what I mean?
It does. So it's funny that you say that because I've been to the office once. Oh, I mean, I've been to the office. I go to the office occasionally, like maybe a couple times a month or something. And I went to the office earlier this week, and I like totally intended to like just get away from like my home environment and kind of get some work done because sometimes it's hard to stay focused at home, right? Because you're so comfortable. Yep. So just kind of being a different environment. And I think like we had like I wouldn't say a production incident, but an incident that kind of took my attention away from the work that I wanted to do. And it was just kind of just yanking. I feel like I want to pull my hair out if I could. Speaking of hair, I got a haircut, so that's good.
I did not, so
act. That's why it has the HBCU hat on.
We're still repping out here, you know what I'm saying? I am part of the African American College Alliance.
Yeah. You can always tell when Nicholas wants to really do a podcast. Like, I just got a haircut. We're doing the podcast this weekend. Just got a cut. Me over here just looking all rough and shit. I'm like, fuck. I guess we'll do it.
And now it's my time to go off, right? So.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk some news first. So I don't know if you heard about this. TikTok TikTok is already starting to be banned on government devices. So this
shouldn't be on government devices. Let's talk about that.
That's true.
I mean,
this is true. That's very true. That shocked me. It's like TikTok. Yeah, government's banning TikTok on all government devices, which is interesting. Do you remember the Ashley Madison leak a couple of years ago? The Ashley Madison site is a site where people apparently go to have affairs, and they leak that information. They got hacked and they leaked a bunch of just emails that came from that.
I think I remembered it.
You do remember that, right? So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because some of the emails, and people got like committed suicide too, by the way, like preachers or just some people who got committed suicide. But the reason why I bring that up is that some of the emails that was leaked were .mil emails. Some people were using their government work emails to hook up with somebody else. That being said, it's no surprise that maybe some government officials or some government devices has TikTok for some reason. Um,
I
but
really don't
yeah,
see what.
so
What's the reason
yeah,
for
the
having
government.
TikTok? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
it's it's weird. So it's what I want to say is that so the news came in today that the government, U.S. government, is banning all TikTok from all their government phones, and apparently the House committee um, has has given Biden the power to ban TikTok, and there's also bills wanting to ban TikTok as well. So um, yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this story per se. Uh, I personally think we should ban TikTok. That being said, I don't think they're going to ban TikTok, right? And but even though I think they should ban TikTok, there are good arguments on why we shouldn't ban TikTok, and I'm going to play one of the videos there to kind of show one of those arguments, and I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about like why some of those people like content creators kind of obviously want to keep TikTok because that's where they make their money, right?
Yeah,
TikTok is the most popular platform. They want to keep their money. Um, I'm sure Instagram, Google, and Facebook don't mind TikTok being banned, right? So it's like, well, get out the American market. We deserve to waste your time, not them. The argument for banning TikTok is yeah. No, well, the
oh yeah,
argument for banning TikTok is that one, they're collecting. It's a Chinese company that's collecting American information. And number two is that it's like the Chinese TikTok is different from the American TikTok, right? Chinese TikTok, kids are limited to only an hour a day, while American TikTok there is no limits to that. Now, the company just came out with a feature to limit TikToks, like screen time for TikTok, to about an hour, like an optional like setting. But even the type of TikTok that is shown is different. Like ours is a little bit more just entertainment, time wasting TikTok, while Chinese TikTok is like very educational, right? Um, so I think it's a very interesting dynamic, right? Like what how free is free, right? And what are the limits of freedom of speech? So let me actually one of the my favorite Instagram accounts who has a TikTok. He's more famous on TikTok than he's on Instagram, but his name is Conscious Lee. Love listening to this guy, and he stitched another content creator on why TikTok shouldn't be banned. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that like right now.
Is trying to ban TikTok, and it is worse than you think. Here's what you need to know. Tomorrow, Congress will consider a bill that effectively bans TikTok for people in the US, and the way that they're planning to do it will undermine our First Amendment rights for years to come. Quietly introduced by Texas Congressman Michael McCall over the weekend, the law would forbid US citizens from engaging with entities that may transfer sensitive personal data to a foreign entity that is subject to the influence of China, effectively banning TikTok and many other foreign businesses. It would also gut the Berman Amendment, which was passed in 1988 to protect our right to receive information, regardless of what country that information was created in. It's what keeps the US government from banning a book by a Chinese author simply because it's from China. And in this case, it means that you can't ban a social media app simply because the app is from a Chinese company. Whether it's sharing cat videos, discussing spy balloons, or watching this video right now, the First Amendment guarantees your right to express yourself both online and off.
So I have some thoughts, but what are your thoughts?
this it's interesting. So like, when you first brought this up, like I was just like, I'm just like, they shouldn't ban it, right? But
Mm,
I mean, there's definitely some levels to it. But I kind of
yeah.
agree with the poster too. It's like, you know, on one side, you want to protect our freedom of speech and our right to express ourselves. On the other side, you want to protect like the country itself, right? And if we know that TikTok is being used as kind of more of like a way to spy on U.S. citizens and gain information, then I mean, there's a case to be made, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think my issue is, you know, when they introduce these bills, it's almost like it's like she says, it's quietly done. It's like, we should ban TikTok, but there isn't really any, and there's no story to come out and say like, hey, like this, you beware, buyer beware of this app. Like downloading this app could be, you could be supporting, you know, some Chinese like spy efforts
Mm-hmm.
and all this other stuff, right? So it's like in this country, you know, we don't as much as there's a 24/7 news cycle. It's like they're still trying to keep things from the populace, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like all you get is, hey, they're gonna ban TikTok. Like you told me they're gonna ban TikTok. I was like, oh, that's BS. You know what I mean? What are they
Yeah.
gonna do next? Ban Facebook, ban Instagram, yada yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. But now it's like, well, I mean, there may be some levels to it. Maybe might want to look into that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
So
right.
it's but again, when these things come out, there isn't really anything to really tell the American public why it should be banned. It's just like, oh, we need to ban it,
Yeah.
right? It's just
No, absolutely right.
so
That's
I would appreciate a little more insight from the government as to why these things need to happen. I mean, at least you might be surprised at how many people will be willing to possibly support that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And then the next question is, are you going to ban it? I mean, you know, why don't you, I guess, well, why don't we come up with the American equivalent? Or, I mean, do we already have it? Is it just
Well,
YouTube Shorts
it's
and just
it's
call it? You know what I
YouTube
mean?
Shorts, Instagram Reels. We have it. It's just that people are more towards TikTok because of like how they're paying. No, I think you hit a lot of things, right? And I think the big thing for me is that one of the problems that we have in our society is that we are unable to have more nuanced conversations, right? And as you said, like there are a lot of levels to this. Like I would like define it as there's a lot of just nuance involved, right? There
Yeah,
is kind of this issue here, right, where if you're going to ban TikTok, how is it banned? What are those ramifications for banning it, right? Does it infringe on free speech, right? Um, I can concur that the Chinese government it has some nefarious um, goals with TikTok in the United States. Sure. That being said, right, how does this affect other aspects as well, right? What if like a Uyghur Muslim is trying to explain his plight in like what's happening in China? So in China, they're essentially eradicating like Uyghur Muslims, right? What if a Uyghur Muslim wants to speak out and reach out to the United States? The way this law is written or implemented, right, we may not be able to get that information anymore, right? Um, so that's one aspect of it as well, right? Another aspect is again, right, what happens if like the effect of like how free is free, freedom of speech, right? As we mentioned earlier, TikTok, Chinese TikTok and American TikTok, very different, right? Their limits, what they show is very different. I wish I actually had the foresight earlier. I actually would have like downloaded a video to kind of show like some of the differences as
yeah,
well.
I would love to
Um,
see that.
yeah, and there's some pretty funny jokes about it as well. So totally forgot about it. But um, like their TikTok is different from us, and like you can argue that TikTok can cause mental decay, like based off the algorithm, right? Um, and you can spend a lot of time kind of scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, right? Um, so the question is, who reserves the right to like waste our time? Should it be a Chinese company or an American company, right? Um, we can make the argument that the Chinese company like they're wasting our time stealing our information, but that's what American companies are doing, right? So,
Facebook,
um,
I'm looking at you,
like right
right?
now, so like again, how free is free? Like, what are the ramifications of that?
Yeah,
It's true. I mean, I again personally, I'm perfectly okay with like banning TikTok. That being said, right, what are the how they do it is also important, right?
yes, yeah,
Um, we don't want to. It has to be very specific, and actually, what you alluded to earlier, right? the American people sometimes isn't told. Sometimes when they make a bill, they try to squeeze something else under the bill as well,
Is that
right?
called what,
And so
earmarking or
all these
something? Like
other
they,
shits in there, right?
yeah,
Um, so, and that's what they could probably be doing with this as well. So, it's meant to kind of be vague um, and and whatnot, and just keep people like in the dark on certain things.
yeah.
So it's frustrating, to say the least. I empathize with a lot of the creators who's kind of made their money on TikTok, right? Um, but at the same time, right? God, maybe I'll bring it next week. There's a funny like reel or TikTok or video that comes off where a guy's like, "Stop being influencers. We need electricians." Right? um,
I mean, he's not
and
wrong.
yeah, I know, right? Like we need people that have like hard skills that can help society a little bit. And why do that when you can like stare in front of a camera and say, "Oh, hey guys," da, 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 and make money that way, right?
So
Um,
here's a question:
yeah,
Do you have TikTok?
I do have TikTok. I don't post a TikTok,
Okay,
but
I do
I
not.
do.
I do not have TikTok.
Yeah, I don't post a TikTok. I've shared some TikToks in some of our group
You
chat.
have, yeah, you have, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
too. So, I do have it. I don't spend a lot of time on it though. I am a lot more on Instagram. Um, I'll admit too, these algorithms will get you in trouble. Can definitely get you in trouble. They can
Oh yeah,
they definitely put you in a situation where like you're staring, you're going down like the wrong rabbit hole. So I've
oh
made this joke before with, or this comment before with like my mentor Jose, um, where yeah, I'm a heterosexual male. I like looking at women. All right, and TikTok or Instagram will be like, oh, okay, and well, here's look at this chick, and look at this chick, and you can spend so much time doing that, right? So I had to do something to kind of manipulate the algorithm. Me being using my software engineering brain was like, well, you're trying to screw me over here, so let
yeah.
me unfortunately say I'm not interested in like some of these women that you're showing me, which is a tough decision, right?
Well then, yeah, because
And
then you go and risk then you risk going down the other rabbit hole. Oh,
well, that's
you
true.
don't like women? Okay, try
Well,
this.
well, no, but let me kind of explain. So what I do a lot is I like and share a lot of astrology stuff. So I'm big into science and stars and cosmos and stuff. So a lot of that stuff. I do a lot of Black history or you've seen some of the videos I've shared.
Oh,
So a
of
lot
course.
of those educational aspects from that. I try to my best to stay away from um, I try to stay away from just kind of the very gimmicky type of Kyrie Irving esque type of like conspiracy theories type stuff. But like at the same time, so I do like a lot of math stuff, a lot of computer science stuff, a lot um, of astrology stuff. So I'm not kind of on TikTok or Instagram like looking at girls, but at the same time, the algorithm's smart enough to say, yeah, sure, you like this stuff, you're liking it, but you're spending a lot of time looking at this other stuff, right?
I
So
mean,
it's like, ah, damn it. So it's something that I try to control as best I can, and not everyone has the understanding to do that, right?
yeah.
Um, which is another aspect as well. So I try to manipulate like my algorithms to show me fitness stuff, educational stuff, funny, humorous stuff. Um, so I'm not kind of going down this rabbit hole of looking at women that essentially aren't real, right? Because Instagram
I
women
mean,
aren't
yeah,
real.
yeah. All those women
Um,
have. We could talk about that
yeah,
another time,
with
but I mean, they're
filters
all.
and angles and lightings and all that stuff. It's not
Yeah.
real. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I do think they should ban it. Like, I won't miss TikTok if it's banned. Um, I definitely can see how others. I don't think they're going to ban TikTok. I don't think they are. Especially the Democrats, right? They heavily rely on the youth vote. Um,
Yeah.
and that would piss Gen Z off for sure.
Oh,
For sure. Right.
But I don't
Um,
think it was the Democrats that put that bill forward, though, right?
no, it wasn't. It was a Republican. But still, like there's definitely been a lot, and I may I may touch this topic again, because there's a lot of one thing that's frustrating about our Congress is that they are allowed to buy stocks, right? And based off of news like this, they can buy and sell stock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. So I may actually do my due diligence more thoroughly and kind of try to map the pieces together, put my Sherlock Holmes hat on, and kind of see where all this is going as well, right? So I thought that's actually pretty interesting. All right, next topic.
It's actually
Um,
kind of corny. Great
it's
segue. So,
kind of corny. Kind of corny. I'm gonna put my Sherlock Holmes nerd hat. And next topic. All right. So Michael B. Jordan news. Have you seen Creed 3 yet? I need to see that movie.
I have not. I have not. I mean,
I
I'm
need to
reading
see it.
good things. I mean, the
I'm
reviews are positive. So,
hmm
and I'm always,
good reviews.
always
Yeah.
behind that because he directed the movie. A lot of
Yes.
black people getting work off this movie. So,
Yeah.
and I heard it had a good opening weekend too. So,
Yeah.
I want to go see it.
I checked the box office numbers. It made 100 million for opening weekend, above on the $75 million budget, which is actually really really good,
Hmm.
right? So normally, kind of the way I do the math for these things, right, is that for a movie to make profit, it needs to make double whatever the budget was, right? So making 100 million off of 75 million on the first weekend, on your very first weekend, is actually pretty solid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So very happy for him. Good to see Jonathan Majors back again in in another movie. This man's killing it right now. He's in Creed. He's in Ant Man.
Yeah.
So super happy for him. And yeah, but this story is about. Actually, you know what? Let me just go ahead and play the video because
I mean, yeah. You're wasting time. Play the video.
it's
Play the
funny. It's
footage.
just funny. We'll just play it.
We got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name, but yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. You know, it's a family vibe.
Yeah.
Last nine years of my life, I spent on the Creed films. They're very supportive. You know, Tessa, Felicia, Rashad, Wood Harris, people that see me grow up. And for the fact that I stepped behind the camera and finally got a chance to direct them, they loved it, they embraced it, and it was a wonderful experience.
And was it difficult for you mentally because you're coming out of a different space?
I didn't know he was doing that athletic gear. I mean, I was staying in it.
All right. So this is almost like the ultimate payback, right? I know
Oh,
I've been made fun of throughout my life, especially in high school and middle school, or in various stages, for being corny or nerdy, right? One thing that always frustrates me is that, for starters, I was always compared to Steve Urkel by like my white colleagues, like always. It was super annoying. Um, this is also the reason why representation matters, right? Because the only black nerdy person that they know is Steve Urkel, right?
yeah.
So it's why
Oh,
representation
smart
matters.
black guy. Hey, you're like Urkel.
Yeah, exactly. It's super overt, right? Uh, but this is almost like the ultimate payback that we all wish for, right?
Of course. Of course.
You're being successful, and then that person that made fun of you is like, oh hey, how's it going, right? And you're like, oh, I know you. You made fun of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but go ahead, man. What are your thoughts?
So, I mean, I love the way that he did that. I thought it was hilarious. I think some people like took it a little too seriously. I know Joe Budden had like a segment on it. I think he was saying like he, went too far because it was some, why are you bringing up something that was said to you like in the seventh grade or whatever, year it was. But for me, it made me think about like just how in general, like in Black culture, like you think about the way that the word corny is used. You know what I mean? And it's like, why is it that when somebody when somebody's being called corny, it's like you call if that person is like seen as being like a square, as if they're being too proper,
Mm.
and stuff like that. So it just made me want, it just made me think about that. Like I kind of wanted to have a discussion about why we as a people tend to put each other down
Mhm.
when you are like square, when you're simply just kind of like following the rules or just going like your day like you're
Mhm.
kind of supposed to, right? So if you're doing that, like you're corny. If you're getting good grades, you're corny. If you're doing this, you're corny. If you're not getting in trouble,
Yeah.
you're corny, 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 corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
If
hear
you're
you.
if you're a square, you're corny. Like it's like that's not. And I
No.
think the story was that he was one of the quote unquote corny kids, supposedly anyway, right? Because they
Yeah.
were saying that he in school he was walking around. I think he had like headshots, and he was like trying to
Yes.
do the acting thing from an early age. He was in The Wire, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
But it's
He was in
like
The
people
Wire. He
like
was in
that get
All My
made fun of.
Children or something, like another soap opera.
He might have been. I don't
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it just brought back. It just made me think about like that type of conversation. It's like it's kind of sad that we immediately do that to each other when obviously he had the foresight. He was working towards something early in his life, but the cool kids at the time are just like, yo,
Hmm.
you're corny, you're a nobody, get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, in her defense, a little bit. So I was gonna say, like, those people that are usually the cool kids in high school, they usually peak in high school. um,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I mean, she's doing the person who I don't have her name off the top of my head. Um, she's actually doing pretty well herself too, right? But yeah, what she said was they made fun of him for his name, and as you said, right, he had like his headshots and whatnot, right? This is
hmm
also a guy who likes anime, right? Now, I
yeah,
like anime in high school and middle school, and let me effing tell you, I was made fun of for it. I, what? Like, it's a cool thing now. Like, in 2023, it's
hmm
cool. Or 2020 is cool. But back
yeah,
then, it was not cool, right? I
yeah,
definitely remember running home to school, from school to catch Dragon Ball Z and fighting with my sister over the remote, right?
yeah.
And remembering specifically at times what times like the commercial ended to get back because my sister she wanted to watch like TRL and uh um BET. What is it called? Not the basement.
Rap
What's the
City.
show? Huh?
Oh, Rap City is the basement. Never mind.
Yeah, Rhapsody in the Basement, but there's a show that came after that too. It was 106 in Park. That's what it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang, I didn't
Um,
think about that.
yeah. So yeah, I would go home and I'll be like trying to watch like my anime, and we're also trying to watch like this stuff as well. And when I was he's not much younger than us, so he's kind of in that same era, right? So I can imagine him watching anime and him being made
Yeah,
fun of
sure.
for it. Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted to like get like a letter jacket with like Supreme Kai from like Dragon Ball Z or Frieza. Like my friends we called each other like Dragon Ball Z names. So someone called me Frieza, I called somebody like Cell or whatever. It was just
It was
nerdy.
corny.
It was nerdy. It was corny, and we got made fun of for it. We got made right. It's cool now. It's cool as fuck now. I don't
Yeah.
know if you know who RDC One World is.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, but that's their whole thing
I
now.
know. I've seen some of
Yeah.
the videos. Yeah.
Shit that we got made fun of is like they're freaking entrepreneur making a whole business out of for. So, um, it's fucking it's hilarious to see.
But even beyond that, right? Like you think of somebody like John Morant right now, right? I think this is a good example.
Yes, it's a
This
great
dude,
example.
um, God only knows why. There's a case where he assaulted some 17-year-old kid, punched him in the face.
Hmm.
Then you have the I don't know why you would do it, but I guess he made a video of himself having a gun somewhere like on Instagram,
Yep.
and it's one of those things where it continues to confound me as to why we do that. Why do we need to prove that we're real or authentic, right?
Yeah.
If I was John Morant, let's say I made it to the NBA, okay?
Mhm.
You probably going through security even talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I hoop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be. I can understand if somebody's like messing with you on the court. It's definitely like you got to be an alpha male to be out there on the court. But this
Yeah.
dude is out there like starting fights, trying to act like he is quote unquote like about that life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
And he's
you're
not, which is
you're making
fine.
yourself. To me, that's corny,
Yeah.
right? And we have to figure out like how we want to use that word. But to me, that's corny. To me, it's not corny to be the Tim Duncan, which is kind of like the regular dude who doesn't do anything crazy. He's just like, hey, I ball, I do this, and I'm out, right? Like some of these
Yeah.
guys, trying to be one way. Some of these guys try to be another, try to act like they're street and all this other stuff. And
Hmm.
it's like, but the guys who are just like the regular cats, they're seen as corny. Even in,
Yeah.
in today's world where you have if you're as a man, like if you're not making like so much money and showing all this stuff that you have and how perfect you are, and hey, I only got luxury, this, that, and the third. Like if you don't have that, then you're corny. If you're, you know what I mean, like you're single now, you know what I mean. Like it's like if you don't have certain things, then you're automatically called corny or something like this. Like everything is just made to be corny when you're just trying to be yourself, right? It's just interesting to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember at my workplace, my suits that I wore, the high water, the pants, I got made fun of for it. um,
I was
no,
one of those people making fun, but I didn't call you corny though. I just made fun of the pants, right? But there's a difference. You know what I'm
come on.
saying?
Is there a difference?
There's a difference
Obviously, I'm
between,
not.
hey, like where's the flood at, and oh, that's the corny dude because he speaks a certain way, and you know what I mean. Like it's not like I was saying, yo, that's the corny dude. I just
Where's the
wanted to
flood
know where the
at? I
flood
remember
was at.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember that one actually. That was pretty good. Yeah. No. But so a couple things. So for our audience who may or may not know who John Morant is a basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies. I think it was like the third overall pick. Um, really good player, very exciting, fun to watch. Fun to
Oh
watch. He's
yeah, I'm
always
a
trying to
fan.
dunk on
I
somebody.
was a fan until he started doing all this bullshit.
Yeah, I know, right? So when Kyrie Irving like said all his stupid shit and posted all of his dumb shit, like, and he lost all of his his deals, what Nike tried to do was make John Morant the face of like their brand and in the league, right? Because he's so exciting, um, and just fun to watch. And now he's like implicated in all this bill bullshit, and he's trying to be like what he's not. That's and I think as what you said is corny, right?
I can tell
We
you're
stereotype
pretending.
corny as
Man tried to get
dressing
in a fight with
a certain
Shannon
way,
Sharp.
huh?
He tried to get into a fight with Shannon Sharp. You remember that?
Yeah, which yeah, I did see that. It's the dumbest thing
Why?
shit in the world. And Shannon Sharp was probably out of his kind of out of pocket for his shit, but still, um, like John Morant is like I don't know if you remember 8 Mile. John Morant is Papa Dot. In 8 Mile, because you guys don't know that reference, Papa Dot is like the guy who's trying to be hard, rapper, like has this posse of people, had guns. Well, I don't think he had a gun on him, or did he? I'm not sure.
Probably. I don't
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, and then like B Rabbit or Eminem like called him out on on all of that at the end of the movie, right? But yeah, John Morant, same situation. Has a two-parent household, has went to private school, things you shouldn't be ashamed of, right? You don't have, not everyone has that luxury. So why do you feel the need to be this hard ass, right? Um And this kind of mentality destroys careers. It happened to Gilbert Arenas, right? He did the same fucking shit,
He
right?
he brought the gun
Yeah, he
to the
brought a gun to
stadium,
a locker room, right? I
right?
think. Yeah, and he was caught. He was called for it, called out for it, and it was like, and he made a lot of money in the NBA, but he could have made so much more, right?
Right.
And here's John Morant. I don't think he's signed his supermax contract. Those supermax contracts are like ridiculous, like 205 million for 5 years.
He
It's
might not
like,
get one now.
yeah, they already
You know what I
suspended him for
mean?
2 games because of this incident here, right?
Well, did they,
Um,
I don't think they suspended him. He said he was going to get help or something. It's like he's taking 2 games off.
I think
I
they
don't think he
suspended
got
him.
suspended.
I think the Memphis really suspended him. Hold on, let me see. Um, uh, suspended. See if it's true or not. Yeah. So he was suspended for 2 games by the Grizzlies. Hold on, let me see if I can just do
Okay,
it right quick. It's probably like you probably can't see it.
that looks horrible. Yeah, there's no way anybody can read what you have on the screen right
How
now.
about this now?
No.
No. Fuck.
Maybe
You
you
know
know what?
what? I
Maybe
tried.
no.
Okay.
Maybe because my restream screen is has a lot of stuff on there, so maybe on YouTube they'll be able to see it.
Maybe.
You try.
Maybe not. We'll see.
But it's like this though, like so at the because I feel like we jumped around a little bit, but to me, like at the end of the day, I feel like we need to kind of redefine what we want to say is corny. Like it shouldn't be corny to be yourself. It shouldn't be corny to have a vision for your future, right? It should be corny. What's corny, at least in my opinion, is trying to be something that you're not.
Mm.
You know, if you come from a good background and you're trying to act like you from the streets, my first question is why. That's corny to
Mhm.
me. You know what I mean? Just be
Yeah.
yourself. So I see that. If anybody scrolls on Instagram ever, like you see that everywhere. It's like you got people, people that you think but then you look at some of their accounts. It's like you see them. I've seen people like you know drinking stuff, tatted up like out of nowhere. Putting crazy messages up. I'm still about
Yeah.
that life in the street. Yeah. Bruh, like, no, you're not. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Go make something out of yourself, man. And just that's the corny shit to me. That's corny to me.
Yeah, one thing you hear in the black community a lot is keeping it 100, right? 100, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But too
and
many. Oh, wow, I'm glad.
yeah, I mean, but like keeping it 100 is being yourself, right?
Right.
Regardless of like what that is. And to me, something else I heard while growing up is, why don't you act black? Or you're not acting black enough, or why are you acting this way? Why don't you act more black, right? And
It's like
that
but acting
mentality,
acting being black like that, it has like this negative connotation.
yeah,
It's really saying, why aren't you doing something ignorant? To me, like
yeah.
when people say that, it's like, why aren't you doing something ignorant? Why does acting black have to mean that I'm acting ignorant or acting
Yeah.
out of
Well, the
character?
way I see it too is that puts you in a box, right? Because right, you don't normally see black people as presidents of the United States. You don't see normally black people as engineers, as
Right.
CEOs, as leaders, right? So what you're doing is you're kind of limiting what black people can do by just limiting black people to a bunch of stereotypes. And other races look at this too, right? And
Of
just kind of
course.
put us in that box, right? That we said this earlier in the show. Representation matters, right? And it's important that black people are seen as what we are, multidimensional, right? Um, as artists, as engineers, as mathematicians, right? So many things, right? Like we don't. It's not just hip hop, right? Black
Exactly.
people black people were responsible for rock and roll, right? Um,
Jazz too.
Jazz, so many other music genres, right? Um, and art. a lot of that history is being erased, right? Currently, and we're replacing it with like some of this ignorant shit, right? So, I hope he finds his way. He learns from this, um, and like we don't. I hope we don't like hear too much from him about this again. I mean, we started with off with like Michael B. Jordan, but like I think you nailed it on the head with like by bringing John Moran in this, right? Because this is
Yeah.
exactly the problem right here, right? This is a guy who is successful but doesn't want to be considered corny, and he's gonna freaking fuck his life up, right? Because of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, which is hilarious. I want to play one video. This is kind of a funny video. It's from one of my favorite artists that I like to watch online is Ace Van. I've shown you some of
Oh,
his stuff before.
I'm ready for a laugh right now. Go ahead, play that.
The guy, I think you've seen this already. So yeah, it's pretty funny. So go ahead and check it out.
And the man of the night is here, Michael B. Jordan, and we go way back to high school.
Yeah, I was the corny kid, remember?
Hold on, man. who called you corny, right?
You did. What you mean? That's what you called
No,
me.
I was misquoted. I was talking about Michael Jordan.
No, you wasn't.
All right, look, all I'm saying is I was misquoted. Some shit.
Man,
All
look,
right,
you
that's
said
what
what you said. It's corny. You don't want to stand by it, but you know what I'm saying. It's
Because you
just,
gonna call me out. I don't know what the fuck.
Michael B. Jordan. The fuck?
If there's any confusion, you calling a bitch corny for calling you corny is corny.
Now wait a goddamn minute, loud homeless man in designer clothes. Survey says your ass is corny.
Dad, what the fuck?
Oh shit.
My God, I knew you were out here. Are you still following him around?
No, I ain't following nobody. I'm out here. We doing an episode of Family Feud with
No,
the
you're
cast.
not. You're following Michael B. Jordan. Stop.
Damn it, girl, why ain't you just stay with that boy? Look at that mustache, good ass
You
mustache.
following him around is corny.
Nah, what's corny is you dating a boy named Future and ain't have one with him.
What?
Now hold on, Steve Harvey. I don't know if she ain't tell your ass or not, but you know, I don't want her. You know what I'm saying? She too corny for me. You know, I need somebody that's for the streets.
And you know what? That's why I'm so happy I prayed to get away from you.
You telling me you falling out of love with me?
Yes, I need me a corny dude, and that's what I got.
Sierra!
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. You're not corny. I'm not.
Say
You
you
weren't
ain't
supposed to do
calling
that.
corny in public anymore.
Baby, we know you're not corny. It's okay.
I will shoot this place up. Come on.
Sarah, I will shoot this place up. Come on.
So for those who don't know, that was Michael B. Jordan. That was Joe Budden. That
Oh
was
man.
Steve Harvey. His adopted daughter, Lori Harvey. And Sierra and Russell Wilson over there. Oh my God, I thought that was.
Oh man. Yeah, that was a good one, man. That was a good one. But he makes a good point. Like in that video, everybody in there finds a way to make themselves look corny.
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing, man. Corny has been applied to a lot of things, man. But I'm hoping that we can get past this. If you're not from the life, acting like you're part of a certain life, then you're corny type stuff, man. Just
I think we will eventually. I think one of the sad things, though, is that like we mentioned this earlier, right? Where we used to like anime as a kids, and now it's a cool thing, right? Or when we were younger, it was corny to be a nerd, and now people love nerds. So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so yeah, go ahead and continue to run your race, and build your happiness, and people will eventually come to you. So
There it is.
yeah, for that. Okay, cool. I think we covered most of what we wanted to cover. What else you want to talk about? We got a couple more minutes.
Usually I wouldn't take any time to give this school any shine, but I'm gonna do it because they're all part of the HBCU family. So, shout out to the Howard University swim team. They had an historic season this year. I think they are the only all black swim team out there, and I mean they've been breaking records. They've had a lot of success this year. And yeah, I just want to shout them out, man. Hope all the best for them. Hopefully Hampton, you know, hey, as much as I hate to say it, hopefully they follow their lead, come up with a swim team too. Let's get out here, get in these sports, man. I know Hampton has a lacrosse team. I don't think they've been that successful, but yeah, shout out to the Bison swim team for sure, man.
Yeah, no, I did read about that. So that's actually pretty amazing. Because there has been we talked about stereotypes earlier, right? There's a reason why the black stereotype for not being able to swim is a thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there's some systemic racism involved in that, unfortunately, especially in
Absolutely.
America, right? So it's cool to see again, a university actually breaking stereotypes,
Yeah.
right? As well as there. So yeah, no, that's amazing to see, and that's good that you got off your high horse and you congratulated another HBCU.
I
Were
do
you
when I'm
gritting
kidding.
your teeth? Were you like squeezing a stress ball while you were saying?
It's tough. It's tough. But like I said, I'm part of the alliance. We're all in this together, man. So
What teams does Hampton have? I know you have a football team, basketball team.
football, basketball, lacrosse, tennis.
Lacrosse.
I don't know. I don't follow like every single sport the school has. But all the usual suspects. But we don't have a swim team. Pretty sure we don't have one of those. So
Mm.
shout out to them for pioneering that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, that's definitely great. Thanks for breaking stereotypes. Um, and swimming isn't corny. Actually, I need to learn to swim. I'm not really good at it, and usually when I travel, it really limits my travel of what I can do. Not
Gotta
being
get
able
on
to
that,
swim.
fam. Gotta get
Yeah,
on
I
that.
definitely gotta figure it out. I need to get this passport effing renewed. I sent my passport off like weeks ago, and it's still not really. I don't have a status on it, which is a little jarring.
Oh, dude, yeah, the passport thing is taking like like 9 weeks for new applications now or something crazy like
Yeah,
that.
I expedited my shit. I had my shit
So
expedited,
yeah,
and I checked the passport site every time, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have a status yet on your application." So I'm like, "Did you get my shit?" Because I know it
ooh,
got there. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's a little frustrating. I may have to, I don't know, do another.
I guess
I
the
have
other
to get
thing that
some.
you got to do, I think this is something for around the country, but that making your driver's license into a real ID or getting the real ID
Oh,
version
that's
of the
another one.
license.
Yes.
Because I don't think you're going to be able to fly without that uh, after this year, maybe.
I think it's this. I think they extended it 1 year. I think they extended it 1 year.
They've
So
extended it like several times.
that's true.
Um,
I think they extended it because of the pandemic. But no, you're absolutely right. Got to get on that one as well to get that real ID. I hate going to the DMV. It's so annoying.
oh,
But
and you have to go to the DMV for that too. Yeah.
yeah, I hate going to the DMV. It sucks. Oh my god,
And
it's
they
like the
want your
worst.
whole life story to get that too.
Oh
So have
man.
fun.
Let me guess. You got your real ID?
I just put in for it Friday, so it's the whole thing. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, I probably should start on that sooner rather than later, so I'm not like kind of
I'm
rushing
telling you,
last
man.
second with like everyone else to kind of get that in. Okay, cool. Well, big ups to the Howard swim team. Really, really happy to kind of see you guys do us proud, honestly, and start breaking stereotypes. So that's great. So we gotta just kind of just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. So that's cool.
Still big
So
ups to Hampton University.
you just couldn't do it.
Still hiccups and
Couldn't do
everything.
it. Just couldn't do it long enough.
It's still a real
Okay.
H2 all day. Just so y'all know,
Cool.
don't get it twisted.
All right. Well, I think we're at our end here. So, cool. Unless you have anything else for.
Nah, now we'll do our Ant-Man review later. I know we're a little behind on that, but we
Yeah,
did
we're
get a
behind.
spoiler-free review, 2 episodes ago?
We
So,
did.
Long story short, we think it's good. We know it's been skewered in the. Well, I think it's good because I don't know. You didn't really give your opinion.
I'm eh.
I thought it was good. I know it's been getting skewered in the reviews, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good entry into the franchise.
Yeah, I think it's better than what the reviews stated. Marvel movies have been a little wishy-washy since Phase 4. They haven't. The only two objectively good Marvel movies since the start of Phase 4. Well, there's been a couple of them. The two Spider-Man movies, so Far From Home and No Way Home were really good. Also, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
So those were objectively really good movies.
Absolutely.
In Phase 4, everything else was a little bit struggling. Hated Eternals.
Yeah.
I thought Love and Thunder was okay.
Absolute trash.
I thought a lot of people didn't like it, and I get why. I wouldn't argue against that, honestly. Because how much is
that shit was corny. That
was corny, right? I get it's a superhero movie and it shouldn't be taken serious, but at the same time, it's is everything a joke, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, I definitely get that from that standpoint. Even go ahead.
We can't. This is the one thing, man. We gotta stay on it, dude. Mandalorian.
Oh, I already watched it too.
Have
you watched it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
So next Sunday we're on this. Mandalorian will be part of the show every week.
Yes.
Absolutely love the show. Come to the Targeted Podcast to get all of the Mandalorian details and insights.
Let's do it. Excited.
We do it better.
On that note too, have you watched what's the name of that show? The Last of Us?
Haven't really. I know it's good, but I just have too many other things to watch. I haven't really.
That's fair.
Not really a zombie type person.
It's not. Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea either. I'm not gonna even lie to you. When I played the game, I played it with the lights on during the daytime, on easy mode.
Pussy.
Hey, you know what? I would give a fuck. That is not my cup of tea, right? No. When I played the game, lights was on during super easy mode, auto fire. So yeah, it was a tough game for me to get into, but it was a great story, and I think the show's done a great job of adapting it very, 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 very well. Usually video game movies and shows aren't really good, but this is actually pretty good. So happy to see that. And Pedro Pascal, awesome. Also the man who's also Mandalorian. He's having a moment. He's having a moment.
Him and Jonathan Majors are having
great moment. No, that's great. No, you're right. He's having a moment, right? He was big on Game of Thrones, right?
He was in Narcos too. I knew him best from Narcos.
Yeah, so Game of Thrones, Narcos, The Last of Us. He's great playing Tommy, and also The Mandalorian, right? So he's kind of killing the show or the streaming part. Jonathan Majors again is having his moment in movies, right? With him being Kang the Conqueror, and now in Creed and whatnot as well. So and he's going to be in the TV show, right? He's going to be in the Loki season 2 TV show. So yeah, he's having his moments too. So happy for both of them, right? People of color, just stepping up and just doing well, just doing good things, right? And I know Pedro Pascal has been in the business for a while, so it's good to see him kind of get his shine, right? So yeah, he was in a lot of movies and a lot of stuff.
He was
Okay,
in
cool.
Wonder Woman too, randomly.
He was in Wonder Woman, which was
But
uh
1984, yeah, it was all right.
yeah, 1984 was it was okay. After rewatching it a couple times, I was like, this is an okay movie.
I gotta rewatch it. I haven't brought myself to do it yet.
Yeah, I rewatched it again. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Then I watched it again, I was like, eh. Same thing with
Yeah.
same thing with whatchamacallit, uh Doctor Strange. Like when I watched the first time, I was like, oh, it's not good. Not as good as the first one. The second time I watched it, I'm like, wait, hold on.
I gotta rewatch that. Those are two I have to
we're at,
rewatch.
yeah, we're at the end, but so I won't like open up a can of worms. But
Yeah.
we should probably do like a Marvel kind of review.
Might have to go back and do some of that. And I
Yeah.
did want to say, I feel like Sony is trying to carve out a niche for itself too, because they're turning several of their video game properties into movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
So you've had what, Uncharted, you have The Last of Us, God of War is coming to they're gonna make that into a TV show, I think. So it seems like the video game franchises are kind of like coming back ever since Sonic the Hedgehog like was actually successful.
Horizon.
It seems like they're coming back. Yeah,
Horizon.
Horizon. They're making a TV show out of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they're good. Sony does not have a strong track record for this. They've had a couple good shows.
Yeah.
Well, they've had like Uncharted, which I haven't seen, was actually pretty good. I think Uncharted is a Naughty Dog
Yeah.
like game, which is under the same umbrella as whatchamacallit, The Last of Us. So
Oh
yeah, so yeah, it's they have like similar gameplays. I think Uncharted, the Last of Us, and there's another one, Red Dead Redemption, which I couldn't get into. By the way, I heard it was a great game, but I couldn't get past like the first part. It's just too boring for me.
too long. I still haven't beaten Horizon Forbidden West. It would take me probably like 5 years to beat.
You got to get on that one. That's such a good game. They're coming out with the DLC in like
I know.
in like April, which I'm gonna be on that. I actually. Oh, we probably have to talk about this later too. But I actually might play the Sony PlayStation VR 2 came out
You buying
recently.
it?
I want to. I'm actually gonna wait a little bit, just so they can get all the little bugs and shit out of the way. I haven't heard a lot of stories from like bugs for it, so that's a good thing. Like any glitches and whatnot.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. They say it's better than like the Oculus, which is like way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently this VR2 is just as expensive, even more expensive than the PlayStation 5, which is also expensive.
It's like
Um,
$500.
oh, it's like $600.
Oh.
Yeah, it's expensive as fuck. Um, but yeah, let me see. The launch price is it's $550. So yeah, I think it's still more expensive or as expensive as the PlayStation 5, which is saying something. But they say it's really, really good, so I may pick it up. And they also, while we're talking about Horizon, they have another like a VR Horizon Call of the Wild, a Call of the Mountain. Um, so I'm a huge Horizon Zero Dawn fan. And Horizon fan. So yeah, I kind of want to play it now. Now since you've been talking about it. Cool. Well, all right. That's our hour. That's our bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch us next week. I think we'll be here next week. I think I'll be available next week. So yeah, cool. Catch you next week. Peace out, guys.